What's up, otakus? Your tour guide here. So we're doing another haul video, and I've done a lot of. I want to show my wedding photo up there. um, just gonna let people kind of shuffle in slowly. What's going on with this thing? Usually this works fine. All right, let's try that. Is that gonna work? Let's see. That'll work. Okay. It's gonna work. My camera is just not wanting to work today. There we go. All right. Okay. It's been for those of you watching my channel, you know I got a filing cabinet, and it's a good thing I got the filing cabinet. And it's a bad thing because it's totally made me reevaluate the way I'm collecting. And what's interesting is I had this conversation with a community member who was recently on Comics Wanderlust. Great guy, really interesting collection. But a while back, he was like, man, I'm just going to try to get rid of all my books and really focus on like books that are really rare and high in value. And he had several long boxes of comics, and then he just started to purge them, just started to sell them really cheap. And when he started doing that, I was like, dude, you're like selling Secret Wars #8, and he got another copy. He actually got a double cover, which is incredible. Shout out and kudos to you, man. But I'm kind of at that point now. I mean, not that I would sell my entire collection or just whatever, but I think what the filing cabinet has made me realize is I'm pretty much at my limit as to where my collection, how the volume of that I can. I set a boundary limit, right? If things flow outside of that filing cabinet, it's like we gotta either get rid of books to add more, or we're gonna just stop collecting altogether. And the stopping the collecting altogether is not really it's not really feasible. I mean, I want to continue to do this as a hobby, so you really got to get into the trading and the selling stage now of my collection. And I'm saying this as I'm about to do a 39 book haul that I picked up in the last month and a half, probably a month. I don't even think it's a month and a half. It's been about a month since my last haul video, and I picked up 39 books. So it's gotten to be somewhat problematic. Now, fortunately for me, is a lot of this haul has come from some sales of books. We've sold some books out of the collection, and I guess I could I didn't think to chronicle what I sold, but I mean, if I force myself to remember, I'm sure I can remember. But um, luckily, the books that we've been purging from the collection aren't all that vital, or aren't all that like sentimental to me. Which is why I'm able to sell them and give them away. And I have a lot of. I mean, I'm looking through my collection now, and I realize I have a lot of those books that they're keys. I picked them up because I thought, this is a cool cover. This is something potentially could be worth something down the line. And I just have a lot of these sort of silly books that I've added to the collection, but which at the time I was like, oh, this is cool. But now that I'm in this mode of like really trying to consolidate and downsize and only just have the books that really resonate, the ones that I want to collect. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the filing cabinet has made me reevaluate what I'm collecting and what I want to add to the PC, like what we consider a PC book. And before, I kind of had this broad, oh, we're going to pick up Batman books, Spider-Man books, Superman books, X-Men, Wolverine books. Eventually, we kind of added Daredevil to the mix and all that. That was sort of broad. And then alongside that, we're going to add Jim Lee books to the collection. And this is a seismic shift in my way of thinking. Because the Jim Lee books alone, I have currently 172 Jim Lee books in my collection. And this filing cabinet, let's say we were just to fill it up, I have an additional 300 books that I want to pick up by Jim Lee. There's an additional 300 books out there, key Jim Lee books that we could potentially add to the collection. So we're talking about like close to 500 Jim Lee books, which would pretty much be my collection now. If we were to add all those books, I think I've got close to 700 books now in my collection. So if we were to purge the majority of my collection and just swap out with Jim Lee books, that's kind of where I want to be. And so in order to make that happen, we've got to start swapping out books for either Jim Lee books. Now, having said that, there are a lot of books in my collection that I want to keep. For example, this is one we picked up. We're going to get to this, but this is like this Teen Titans. Like, I want to keep this. So before, I was really trying to pick up, trying to do some runs and stuff, like picking up runs of this, picking up runs of that. And I realized that's something we have to automatically cut out. So no longer are we going to pick up runs. And I know that's a big fun part of collecting, and that's what a lot of collectors do. And I think if I had the space and if I had just the resources and space, I would also continue to do that, just to pick up runs of books. But again, I'm working with minimal space. And so it really comes down to really what are we going to be micro-focused on? And I've been saying this throughout my collecting over the past year and a half. And what I guess where I'm landing is that hyper focus is going to be focused on, I think, older books, and not just any older books, but older books that resonate with me. We're going to continue to pick up Jim Lee and Neil Adams books, John Byrne books. We're going to continue to pick up modern books like Peach Momoko and Art Germ. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm going to start just be hyper focused on the artists that I like, the keys. I think copper and bronze age keys that are still within reach, because we're not looking to spend $1,000 on a book. I mean, if we get something, that's cool. But again, I picked up a Golden Age book for 50 cents a while back. I'll do that all day, and that'll stay in the collection. So that's kind of where we're at. Now that sloughs off a lot of books, and really this haul is not reflective of that mind shift. I picked up a lot of books here that I'm probably going to want to trade away or sell or do something. So that's a lot. That's a lot to, I guess, digest and process. But that's where we are. We are wanting to downsize the collection, kind of do what if I am going to do trades, kind of trade a lot of books for just a few. So I know that's not necessarily how I think a lot of collectors are in my same frame of mind. Like they'd rather give more books to get a lot more like condensed value out of a trade. I was sort of victim to that. In my last trade, I gave away 4 books, which I was fine with. Those were 4 I wanted to give away. And I got back, I think 8 books. Sorry, 7 books. No. What did I get back? I got back a lot of books. I think 8 books or something like that. So that's something we want to avoid. I want to be now on the end where I, again, send out more books for really targeted a few books. Now, I just sent a trade offer to a community member. They're books that I definitely want to add, and I offered him a bunch of the books that I want to get rid of. But it sounds like he's not too keen on it because he hasn't really responded. So we'll see where that trade goes. But anyway, it's a lot of rambling, but we're going to get to the whole video now. Okay, so yeah, let's do it. 39 books. Here we go. First of all, I'm going to show off this Lego car I built for my son today. It's a race car, my own design. Had a lot of fun building that. Basically, my son watches me play with Legos. that's the extent of me playing with him. I will try to do better. Okay, so where are we here? First off, we're going to start with some very tragic, sad news. Kevin Conway and Carlos Pacheco both passed this week. They're both they're just both legendary creative talents in the comic book and animation community. Kevin Conway, as you know, is beloved for voicing Batman in the Batman Adventures animated series. And so he passed, I believe he passed today. And, our thoughts go out to his family. And I'm sure the tributes will continue to roll in because that Batman the Animated Series was really, it was not really of my generation, but the generation that followed mine grew up watching that, and that was their Batman, you know. And man, what a great! And I've watched the animated series. I watched episodes of it. Man, is it great animation? Great, you know, the quality of that for kids. It's really, I mean, could have been a show for adults. Really, it's just so well put together. But that generation was very lucky to have that as part of their childhood, and so um, you know, just having Mr. Conway in our thoughts here. Just gonna feature this book. This is the official comic book adaptation of the first movie, Mask of the Phantasm, that was released in theaters, featuring the voice work of Mr. Conway. And now we're going to get to the haul. You know, I talk about Unmyong, and again, it's been like 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks since my last haul video. And we've accumulated a lot of books. And one of the books I got early on was this 25-cent book. And I got it because I just thought this is a book that would be worth specking on. It's a JLA, JSA, Secret Files Origins, a really cool cover, key book. But, you know, this was a quarter. I picked this up for 25 cents, a number 1 issue. And I thought, you know what? There may be some spec associated with it, because you got so many characters there on the cover. It's a crossover again. It's a 90s book. And then we got news this week of Carlos Pacheco's passing. And I got this book before that news. And it's just interesting. I think Pacheco, like, my first memory of his work is the Bishop solo series in the 90s, that awesome prismatic cover. That was, I mean, when you were collecting back then, Bishop was fairly new to the X-Men universe. You know, he and Gambit were kind of like, I guess, the new kids on the block, and the thing, like, whatever they were in, you want to get those issues, right? And I just remember when Bishop #1, his first solo series, came out, that great Carlos Pacheco cover with Bishop there. I knew, like, all my comic book collecting friends got that book. I didn't know anybody who didn't want. I mean, that had to be one of the hottest books when it came out, just for the title, the #1 issue alone. Now, it's not worth a whole lot, and maybe we'll see some movement on that book if Bishop ever really. I mean, he's been introduced in a future storyline, but we haven't seen him in a modern MCU type. I haven't seen anything next to MCU, but what I'm saying is, like, we want to see him as part of the main team. So I'm just going to be curious to see if there's legs to Bishop #1. But anyway, back to this pickup. Beautiful Carlos Pacheco cover there. And yeah, so rest in peace to Mr. Pacheco. Love his artwork. And we've got, again, JLA, just JSA, Secret Files and Origins. And this is just a tribute. This is his cover. This is Carlos Pacheco's cover art. It's our first book of the haul. Okay. Now, I will say this, even though we're trying to downsize, this is probably one of the best haul videos. There are no, like, major home runs in this one. Maybe a few. Again, I saved the home runs for last. There might be a few. I don't know. It's all, I guess, relative or arbitrary what you would consider a home run or not. But um, there are definitely a lot of extra base hits in this one. And I I mean, in terms, so oftentimes when I do a whole video, I'll pick up a bunch of books because they're keys, and I don't, and they have maybe have a high dollar value associated with it, but I don't necessarily think like it's like a, a book that I really like and connect with. Um, but this haul is not that way at all. In fact, I pretty much, hey, what's up, Simple Simon? Glad you can join. I'm just showing off my haul video. We'll get to just showed off this one. Rest in peace, Carlos Pacheco. That's a great Carlos Pacheco cover. He passed this week. That was the first book in my haul. I'm just getting it to, and so I'm gonna speed this up now that, you know, not do so much talking. This is a book we picked up. Secret Wars #1. We've been meaning to pick this up just because with all the Secret Wars hype coming down the pipeline, and the fact that I love the original Secret Wars, it's just something, and it's a great Alex Ross cover. So I've been meaning to pick this up, and we found it a half price book, so I got it for essentially $2, because half price books, people, they see a $4.99 sticker and they just don't know how to do math. This should have been $2.50, but I got a whole series of $4.99 books for $2 because, again, the people can't do math, I guess. The next book, this is a book also I've been meaning to pick up. And I resisted the urge to go and get it like off eBay and stuff. I just thought, it's a book we want to pick up, but I feel like a lot of the books I pick up from in this and other hauls have been where, again, I had to resist the urge, but eventually it would come back around and I'd be able to pick it up. I think Wolverine 88 is a great example of that. It's like I've been meaning to pick that up, and then right when the speculation on the next Deadpool broke, I was like, man, would really like to pick that up, but it came around in a trade opportunity, so I just thought it was interesting. This is another one where I wanted to pick it up, and we finally got it. It's and I got this for half of cover, so this is I think $3.50 cover, so we got it for like $1.75. Beautiful cover here by, I think, Scott McCowan, and this is a Neil Gaiman, Andy Kubert collaboration, 1602. Now, I could care less about this book in terms of its story and whatnot. For me, I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan, so anything Neil Gaiman's done in comics, I'll want to pick it up. Now, and that's the reason I want to get this book, because there is a dedication in this book to Todd McFarlane. It says, "Dear Todd, because you made this necessary." And I think he meant like him contributing to Marvel and selling. I don't know. It was just a burn to McFarlane. And I just thought that's cool because as much as I love Todd McFarlane, I mean in that whole scenario, he was kind of a peon, right? He was Here's a guy who's been like, hey, fight for creators' rights, and we're gonna leave Marvel, and we're gonna start our own company, and we're gonna, give fair distribution of revenue to the artists and all that, and then he totally goes corporate with his own people, jacking Gaiman on the rights to Angela and all this creative content on Spawn. So, that I wanted to pick up this book just because I have, the first book. I just sort of have I want to collect that Todd Neil sort of sphere. So I want to collect more Angela books and all that. But this is sort of the nail in the coffin for that. I mean, who knows? We may still see more like something related to that spat, but this is definitely one of the fact that Neil writes a message to Todd in there is absolutely is gold. All right, so again, like these books have all been pretty awesome up to this point, and I love. It's gonna sadden me that I won't be able to do these kinds of hauls anymore. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to really focus on doing trades and getting rid of some of these books for other books on our radar and things we want to pick up. So this is a great example of a great book, great cover here. It's a Frank Quitely cover, who has a very unique art style, but very talented. This is Batman and Robin #1. This is sort of a hot book right now because it's the first appearance of Professor Pig. And again, I picked this up for $1.50. Very clean book. So if you're wanting this book, let me know in the comments. Oh, you're going to go to trade reading? Really? All right. You can send any books that you want to me. You can send any books to me, Simon. I'll pay for the shipping. What's up, Just Your Average Geeks? Thanks for joining. This is the third book in my haul. We have, actually the fourth book in my haul. We haven't gotten too far. Just going to let you know what we've shown off so far. This great landscape cover by Carlos Pacheco. Picked this one up before news of his passing because I thought this would just be a good book to spec on. But just very sad to hear. Yeah, I know what you mean. And again, it's a space issue for me now. I'm realizing like I need to just either chill or save money and just get bigger books and like get rid of all these sort of books that I don't necessarily need in the PC. This, however, this next book, it's a cover by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And man, is it an amazing cover. Look at that. That's Batman on Venom. The Bane Venom juice. And that cover is just what. Yeah. So this one we got for 75 cents. And anytime we can get, a book from the 90s, amazing cover like that, we're going to pick it up. So Batman the Dark Knight, 17, not a key, just a beautiful. This is a cover by. Just love that picture of that, the cover of that Batman right there. Beautiful Jose Luis Garcia Lopez cover. All right, moving right along. We've got Iron Man. This is the second issue of Armor Wars. Wars, Iron Man 226. Picked this up for $1. This was at Half Price Books. It was but it was at a Seattle location where they price things not at half price. They price things, but fortunately, with the 75-cent cover price, I felt like $1 was fair, so we paid $1 for it. Again, key issue, second issue of the Armor Wars run. This book is just going to get hot soon, and so hopefully be able to trade it to a community member who's looking to buy it. Now, again, I made the decision to purge and get rid of my collection after I picked up 39 books, which is, I know it's a big contradiction. Yeah, that on that cover, Batman's on the Bane Venom on that cover. Nice cover, I agree. Now, this is my third copy of this book. I don't know why I bought it, to be honest. It's just, I don't come across this book all that often. And it is one of my favorite books growing up as a collector. This was just what disappointed me about this book, though, was it's this great Joe Madureira cover, but it's Roger Cruz that does the pencils on the book. Not that was like completely a deal breaker, but you definitely would have liked to see Joe Madureira do the book. But yeah, Roger Cruz does a great job, and essentially the story is amazing. This is just kicks off what is essentially, I think, one of the first time displacement continuum crossover, like overall changing of the entire universe type things for books for Marvel. Like DC had done it prior, but this is the first one that just it spanned every title of Marvel. And if it's a character that wasn't in this Ultimate Universe, they didn't even write books for that. So you didn't see books like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. You just would, I think, no, Spider-Man got like a $20.99. Everything got like a $20.99 spin-off as well. But this Age of Apocalypse one, man, it was just so epic. And it crossed all the X titles at the time, so. Nice, Simon. Yeah, again, this is my third copy. I don't know why I picked it up. I love this cover. And it's this chromium. This is chromium, it's this chromium double cut. I mean, what is it? It's a full layout cover. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. Again, picked that one up for like $2. This next one we got for we picked this next one up for half a cover. No, we picked this one up for 25 cents. Picked this one up for 25 cents, and that's X-Men 300. Don't mind the sticker there, just in a different bag. I remember because I took the sticker off here. 25 cent at Half Price Books, X-Men 300, and it's actually really good, high grade. I mean, it needs a press, but it's one of those, again, like foil covers, beautiful, like prismatic foil covers, big in the 90s. This is a key issue, beautiful John Romita Jr. cover there. Again, the key 90s characters are Bishop, Wolverine, Storm, and Jean Grey. Again, a key X-Men book like this. This is something I would keep in the PC because it's an anniversary issue. It's 300. It's just a book, most X-Men collectors want to keep. This Next one is also a book I wanted. I got this for $1.25, half a cover. It's a great Todd McFarlane cover of Cyberforce. And what makes this significant is like, so Silvestri did a cover for Spawn. Beautiful Silvestri cover there. This is my signed copy. Got it signed by Mark. I know you can't see the signature, but trust me, it's there. My signed copy of Silvestri, and Todd returns the favor by doing Rip Claw, Rip Claw version of it on Cyberforce. This is Todd McFarlane's cover, and I featured a cover battle of this on like a Instagram survey, and it ended up being 50-50. Half the people like the Todd cover, half the people like the Mark cover. If you ask me, the Mark Silvestri cover is way better than the Todd. I don't know I guess if you like the pink black, I do like black pink color scheme because I love the group Blackpink. But yeah, I mean, for me, this art is way better. The Spawn art is way better. But to each his own. A lot of people love Todd McFarlane, and he's a great artist. But I don't know. I just feel like he's a little bit overrated. Overrated as I show off more Todd McFarlane books that I picked up. I just think, yeah, thanks. I just think if you're going to collect Todd McFarlane, you got to focus on his early Spawn covers, because there's not actually too many of them. He stops doing covers after like issue 24, is it? He kind of like lets. I mean, he's still doing covers, but it's more Greg Capullo and him, I guess, finishing, doing the inking. So, which is nice because we get a lot of Capullo art, but who's just as talented, if not more. And I'm glad Greg Capullo is kind of getting more. The fact that he's doing the Spawn Batman art is, I think, a better. I mean, it would have been nice to have Todd do it as well. It wouldn't have been a subtraction to that. But I think if you're going to have, again, my opinion, the better artist work on that book is definitely Capullo. But again, if you're going to collect McFarlane, if you're going to collect Spawn, and you're going to collect early Spawn, and you're going to collect early McFarlane Spawn, you want to get covers like this, right? Where it's just, those are just two. These are cover buys. These are McFarlane cover buys. Again, it's just when you can pick them up for $1 a piece, you just can't pass up something like that. So pick those up for $1 each. This next one picked up for 75 cents. It's She-Hulk number 15, the first appearance of Grey Hulk. This is like a big book right here. Picked this one up for 75 cents. So this was a big, huge pickup. Now, there are issues with the book. It needs a press. There are just a few. There's like a color breaking issue there, like not really a crease, but just sort of a bend. And some spine ticks. The spine's actually pretty decent. Again, with the press, this could easily be high grade. It's a newsstand copy as well, so really happy with this 90s newsstand copy. This will be a PC book because I love John. This is not John Bernhardt. I take it back. This is not John Bernhardt. This is Dale Keown art, but I love this Byrne run of She-Hulk. All right, so I don't know how many books that was, but we've gotten through a big chunk of books. So hoping you're liking the haul so far. Again, like I said, no home runs. I guess this could be considered a home run. 75 cents for like a $30 book, 90s newsstand. That's a pretty big one. But again, no home runs, but a lot of base hits in this haul. I'm going to continue it. This next one is definitely available for trade if you guys want this. Sale or trade. But it's not in the best condition. It's got a little spine issue here. If you look there in the corner, you can see a little split there. There's a little spine bindery tear right there on the spine. And there's a like spine ticks all along the spine. This is Web of Spider-Man 90. And you'll notice, if you notice the color of this, it's gold. And what that means is this is the rarer second print. Now, I looked inside, the poster is intact. So it's a complete book. The poster is intact. If you were to get this graded, come back with a blue label and all that. It's just not going to come back in a high grade. I would grade it at like a 6.0. I grade it a 6.0. But this is something I would probably keep, actually, because that hologram there is a John Romita Jr. cover. It's a John Romita Jr. Yeah, again, for $1.50, I'll take this all day. Again, I'll probably keep this, actually. This is John Romita Jr. art on that hologram. It's a cool gold hologram as well. So I take it back. This is not available for sale or trade. This is something I'll keep. I got to get rid of some stuff. I do have a problem. All right, so these next 3 issues I picked up, I was trying to pick up the entire run of New Teen Titans. The George Perez and Marv Wolfman run of the Volume 1 New Teen Titans. Or not Volume 1. Yeah, it's Volume 1 of the New Teen Titans, not Teen Titans go way back, but the New Teen Titans. This is the volume. But we're able to pick up 3 of these issues for 25 cents. Can you believe this? I did a recent video on this where I'm removing the stickers, so you'll recognize them from that. Yeah, those Spider-Man books are. I mean, they're very popular now. The hologram covers. You just don't see hologram covers anymore. It's like all the gimmicky stuff from the 90s just kind of died out. Like you don't see the die cut covers. And I mean, I don't know why. I think maybe it costs more money, time, and design thought that went into it. And they just didn't see the need to do that. But I thought they were fun. And if they're not around anymore, the only way you can get them through mass produced 90s books, I say go out and get them. They're fun books. But anyway, we got New Teen Titans number 26, number 28, and number 32. They're all key books. This one is probably the biggest peak, is the first appearance of Terra. This is the first cover appearance and second appearance of Terra. And then this is the appearance of that dude, I think. So again, I am going to stop trying to collect runs, but I have so many of these books. This is something I may follow through on. I do love this run of New Teen Titans. So it's something I may pursue, but only if it's going to be really cheap. Meaning I'm not going to go out of my way to look for these books at a con and pick them up for whatever dealers are trying to sell them for. I get these for 25 cents each, and that's kind of where the context of where I pick them up. So again, 3 New Teen Titans books. That's great. This next one is a home run for me, but may not be a home run for those of you watching. This is really a book that I was excited to pick up. Absolutely excited to pick up. And it's not a key or it's not worth anything. It's just a book. Yeah, that's my childhood pretty much. And that is uh, Amazing Spider-Man, the official Marvel index uh, to Amazing Spider-Man. And it's a #1 issue. This came out in 1984. John Byrne cover, beautiful John Byrne cover there. And there's subsequent issues of. So I think this is a this is again this is like a sort of like an encyclopedia for you know, Amazing Spider-Man. They cover like, you know, the first appearance of Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 17. They go through ASM, you know, 1 through whatever in this particular issue, and they continue to do all the classic, you know, Silver Age books in this limited series. I think it's like a 6-issue. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe 6 to 8 issue run of the official Marvel Index to Amazing Spider-Man. But I just remember reading, like when you start getting into books and stuff, I was picking up the Marvel universe, like, you know, like where they cover all the characters and go through their little bios and powers and all the, you know, those are fun books to read. And this is similar to that, except it's just, again, covering the back issues, like giving a synopsis of all the back issues and characters. So this was a really cool book to kind of just read and build your knowledge of Spider-Man growing up. And for me now to add this, I don't want to collect the entire run of this collection. There are some John Romita Sr. covers from this particular series that I would want to pick up. These are mostly cover buys for me. So I think this one and issue 2 is a John Romita Sr. Those are the two I would. The second issue in this run is the one I would also target and probably want to pick up. Hopefully I can find it somewhere. All right, see you, man. Thanks for joining. But yeah, beautiful cover there. This was a home run for me personally. For 50 cents to pick up a book like that, absolutely. All right, so this next book, this is an interesting book as well. So for those of you who remember, I picked up this book a while back. Do you remember this? I picked up this book a while back for half a cover. Picked it up for $2. It was a really kind of warped, like a warbly warped cover. It felt like it had like some humidity exposure, and then it just warped it. Not that it was water damage per se, but it definitely needs a press. But what was cool is that this dude CJ got it signed by Jim Cheung. I said, wow, cool. Jim Cheung comic. Now, I'm not CJ, but my initials are BK. So when I saw this, I thought, this is sort of an Unmyeon book. Kind of feels like it's made out to me. And it is a signed book, so we picked it up. And just a couple, I want to say just like last week or so, we got another CJ apparently sold books to half price books, and he got rid of his signed books in this purge. So we picked up another CJ signed book, and this time it was signed by Tom Taylor, who wrote this beautiful book here by Greg Capullo, Deceased #1. Made out to CJ with an OG or ah. Great signature placement there. Great Greg Capullo cover. This is what I mean. Capullo, man, can he do a cover? And it's a signed comic, so hopefully we'll get this signed by Greg someday and have a double signed book. But I just thought that was cool. Another Young book. I'm going to try to pick up all of CJ's signed books from Half Price Books when they show up. We're definitely looking out for signed books for CJ. And CJ, man, love that you did the signs made out to you. That's cool. That's something people should do more of. All right, this next one is a complete cover by. All of you know my Art Germ collection has been growing. I have been picking up Art Germ books here and there, and his art's really grown on me. Now it's my love for Art Germ is not the level of my love for Jim Lee or Peach Momoko, but if we see an Art Germ book, we'll try to pick it up. And this one, man, I think this may be my best. Now, I've got a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman cover by Art Germ. Was my favorite Art Germ cover in the collection, but this might take the cake. No, I'm gonna stay old school and still go with Michelle Pfeiffer, but this is definitely one of probably the second best Art Germ cover in my collection. And this is New Mutants #1, key issue there. Beautiful Art Germ cover, variant cover there of Magic. And man, is that a beautiful cover. She is just looking sexy right there. Right? Again, I'm looking out for CJ's collection, man. I will pick up his signed books all day long. Again, love that Magic variant cover by Art Germ. Okay, now we're getting to my Jim Lee books. All right, so this is part of the haul where I feel really good about, because a lot of these books are books that I haven't had in my collection that we've been wanting to add. Again, we're trying to pick up anything Jim Lee. So a lot of these are new Jim Lee ads, and we're going to try to stay focused on that now. I'm really going to try to stay focused on picking up really just the artists I like, or the books I grew up loving to read, or the older sort of, the older keys or the older big books, like older Supermans, older Batmans, older books where, my favorite artists have contributed to, which is still that's still an expansive list. At least being targeted in that when we add them, we're not going to want to get rid of those books. So at some point, when we have just a full lot of books we have, then we can try to get rid of those for bigger books and whatnot. So it's just going to be this sort of micromanaging situation that I think is going to fail miserably, but we're going to attempt it. But anyway, Jim Lee books. These are Jim Lee. I don't know what I have, but it's quite a substantial number of Jim Lee books. And a lot of the ones, again, we've been wanting to add and target. The first one we start off with is the original 90s prismatic cover. How beautiful is that cover? This is, if you're a 90s collector, this is a book you must have in your collection. Also a must-have for Jim Lee collectors. So this is one I knew I could pick this up for like 25 cents or maybe half a cover. I wasn't looking to spend a lot on this. Again, we picked this up for $1.25. This is a really clean copy as well. Because normally, if it wasn't in good, I've had run across this at Half Price Books and passed on it because of the condition. But this one was very clean, so I picked it up. Jim Lee Wildcats #2. Just love this cover. Love that cover there. Beautiful. All right. This one is my second copy, and I don't know why I picked it up. I just love the cover again. And I'll do that. I'll pick up Jim Lee books that where the cover is amazing. It's a cover I really like. And I really got to stop doing this because I keep picking up multiples that I want to keep. This site. It's not like I'm trying to sell this or get rid of it or do anything with it. These two copies are ones I'm gonna keep. And what this means is if I have this in my collection, I can't pick up another Jim Lee book that I want to add, right? Because of the spacing issue. So I need to quit doing it. So I'm going to stop doing it after this video. This is the last time you'll see me pick up a duplicate multiple. Well, not the last time, because if it's higher grade, then if it's a key book and it's a higher grade, I will definitely do it. But this wasn't that situation. Although it was a very clean, both copies I have are very clean. That's Superman's 210. And the reason I love this cover is just, it's non-explanatory right there. Right? Beautiful Wonder Woman, Superman cover there. Love that cover. Just probably the best cover in this. There's one where they're fighting as well. That's pretty good. But this one is definitely more grim right there. All right, beautiful. Love that cover. And this one, now we're finished with the Superman run. This is the last issue I had to pick up to finish the run of Superman by Jim Lee. Thanks, dude. This is the last issue in the run, 215. Finally have it, so no more picking up Jim Lee Superman 204 through, 208. 204 through 215. Because I have pretty much duplicates of every cover in that run except this one. This is the only one I have of this one. All right, this next one is a book. I just love this cover. It's Batman. It's like a sketch. It's kind of like an unfinished sketch that's colored. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a colored sketch variant, but it's a Batman and Joker there. Batman's kind of choking him out, and it's Batman Europa #1. Beautiful, beautiful cover. Now, these next books are from the Batman and Robin Boy Wonder run. This is a run that was highly anticipated because it was Frank Miller and Jim Lee. We're talking about probably one of the greatest comic book writers and one of the greatest comic book artists to come together and do a mini-series. Batman and Robin, right? One of the most beloved titles, two title characters on a book. So there's a lot of anticipation for this. And, it just didn't come out consistently. And, apparently the story wasn't that good. And then there's a lot of issues. Now, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this book very much. But, the powers that be, I guess, didn't think it was lived up to the hype. And that may be true. But we have number 5 in the run. Great cover right there. This is another awesome cover. And I don't know why they gave, I'm assuming it's Barbara Gordon. I don't know why they gave her freckles there. Barbara Gordon has freckles. But that's Batgirl right there. Black Canary in the back as well. Love this Joker cover right there. The dragon tattoo, man. That is so badass. Number 8, love that cover. And this one is not the. All right, see you later, man. Average Geeks, thanks for tuning in. Get some sleep. And I'm gonna, yeah, same here. I want to check out your videos later too. All right, so we've got number 10. Now this is not the, expletive recalled issue. I wish it was, because it'd be worth a lot more. This is just a regular, the standard re-edited version, which is fine. This is another book where we would want to pick up all the books in the run. So to get 4 books knocked off this, I think is a 10 issue run, 10 or 12 issue run of that is pretty cool. I think we have most of the books that we're missing, like, 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 7, and 9. That's what we're missing. This is another Jim Lee book that I was like, when I saw it, I was like, yes, finally. And so it's a clean copy, high grade. I previously got the $1 reprint of this just to have the cover in my collection. It's a book that we were looking for and never really ran across. So I had an opportunity to buy the $1 reprint, and I jumped on it. And now we actually have the original. Not that this is a big key. It's not like an expensive book or anything, but I just love this entire run, Infinite Crisis. And I love all the covers. George Perez and Jim Lee do all the sort of the covers on this run. And this is a beautiful Jim Lee cover right there with Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman there in the background. Love it. So again, I have this cover, but it has got like a big $1 sticker price there. This is our second. Again, I gotta quit picking up the multiples, but this is the original copy. Anybody that wants the $1 copy, I'll probably do that. Give that away in a giveaway. Maybe I'll start doing some giveaways now. Infinite Crisis picked up number 2 as well. Also for half a cover. Great Wonder. I think I said in my last video, I said Wonder Girl, and I said it again now, but this is Power Girl, not Wonder Girl. It's Power Girl. Great Power Girl cover there by Jim Lee. Again, love Jim Lee artwork, and that's all the Jim Lee books. So picked up some big ones. Added some more Jim Lee books that we've been meaning to add, especially, again, the Wildcats, these Infinite Crisis, some of the Batman and Robin covers. Those are books we've been meaning to add. All right, so I've kind of saved the best for last, and we have my book of the haul in the next couple of books. Really, all of these books could qualify as book of the haul. They're really, just, again, these are probably all PC books. We'll have to see how it goes. And it's my first book by a particular artist that we've added. So that's a milestone that we'll get to. In fact, I want to save that book for last, since it's, well, not last, second to last. But anyway, these are all great artists, all great cover arts as well. So this one could have easily been the book of the haul. I just love this cover. This is Death in the Family, book 4, Mike Mignola, Joker cover, newsstand copy. Really clean copy, just got minor sort of crease there in a black cover that's noticeable. Otherwise, look at that spine. It's a really clean spine. Well, no, actually, it's not that clean. It's got some color breaking spine ticks there, you can see. But beautifully presenting book. This is not going anywhere. This is definitely like, I want to pick up all the books in this run because I read this growing up. This was the event of this was probably the event in comic books outside of like the death of Superman. I can't think of a bigger or news generating or publicity generating stunt than having fans decide the fate of Jason Todd, which the fans decided to kill him off. Like how messed up is that, right? Like the fans voted to kill him off, and then the Joker kills him with a crowbar, like literally beats him to death with a crowbar. Very violent, very graphic, very sick commentary on the times in the late 80s. But yeah, man, did this garner a lot of attention and press. So that is the Mignola cover. Next one. Now, these books are just reprints. For those of you who collect Spider-Man, you'll know what these are. But for me, accessing some of the actual issues are pretty much not feasible. So when we can pick these up, these are $2 a piece. When we can pick up a book like this, that's a John Buscema cover. It's a Doc Ock Spider-Man cover. And this, I think, reprints ASM 52. So the interior of this is all John Romita Jr. So I will pick, if I can get more of these kinds of books for $2 a pop, I will do that. Because again, it's a Bronze Age book, but it's a reprint of the originals, and it features all the original artwork in the book. Features these great covers. So very happy to pick this up. Love that cover of Doc Ock there with Spider-Man on the rooftop. Just love it. And we picked up another one. This one is a really amazing. Hey, we're missing. I'm missing one here. Hang on. Oh man, I hate when this happens, but let me just go get it real quick. All right, found it. Sorry. So this next one is by the master himself, John Romita Sr. Oh man, it's a great cover. It's a Mysterio cover. John Romita Sr. Spider-Man covers, so just a beautiful looking. Love the color on that Bronze Age, 20-cent Bronze Age book. I mean, I don't know why these aren't valued higher. I know because they're reprints, but even these reprints, man, this definitely just scratches that itch of owning some of the original run John Romita books. Again, this is, I think, the reprint of classic Silver Age, or maybe it's maybe it's a Bronze Age. No, yeah, Silver Age, probably late Silver Age Mysterio. This one, boom! Look at that cover, John Romita Sr. Goodness, right there. Again, for $2, I'll pick this up all day, every day. Love this cover. This is a home run for me right there. 48. As great as this 50 is, this is the last, I think, 20-cent cover in the Marvel Tales, which I guess is like a key or a collecting key. This one here is just the better cover. Love that. John Romita Sr. This one reprints. It's a reprint. I don't know what the reprint is, but go look it up. Marvel Tales number 48. All right, so some key books there. This one reprints like a Thor book, a Human Torch book, and a Spider-Man book. So 3 reprints in one. It's a thicker square-bound book. Surprisingly great condition for a Silver Age book. So this is a Silver Age book. Again, three books in one. It's a reprinting of, earlier books. But what makes this one significant, again, I picked this up for $2, man. Silver Age book for $2. Can you believe that? This one is my first Steve Ditko cover and interior. Stanley, they did all the original Silver Age stuff here, but again, they did the art for these 3 books. I think this is also, I think Ditko did all the art, and Stanley wrote all the stories for the 3 different books there that featured. Now, it's not like a best cover, not the best Ditko cover. It definitely is like, has these like weird characters there. It's got this nice little Spidey. This is the Clown and his Masters of Menace. I guess those are the Masters of Menace. But just love the layout on this old Silver Age book. You got the great trade dress there. Got all this sort of explanation there, featuring the mind-shattering power of the mighty Thor, plus the flaming fury of the Human Torch. That's just like great Stan Lee-esque cover writing and all that. So, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Silver Age book. Does it get better than that for $2? I don't think so. $2, Silver Age, Stan Lee Ditko. This could have easily been the book of the haul. Easily could have been the book of the haul. But we're finally to my book of the haul. Thank you for being so patient and sitting through this long-winded video. But we're here. We're finally here. After an hour and 14 minutes and like 5 minutes of me looking for a book, dead air, dead space. We're finally here. And just wish stay up. just like that. There we go. All right, so covered a lot of books. We're finally down to the book of the hall. And this really feels like an Unmyeon book because this is a book. Let's go back. So I actually had an opportunity to buy this book. Half Price Books had this book. It was I don't want to say it was a high grade, but it was not low grade either. It's probably like mid-grade book. And they were selling it for, I think, something like $75 at the time, which is like really too rich for my blood. But I remember looking at it and being like, man, I want this book. Should I get it? And I was just kind of like waffling back and forth. And ultimately, I was like, okay, maybe we'll come back for it. I just left it there, which is a big mistake. Big mistake. Eventually, I went back to go get it a few days later, and it was gone. And ever since that day, it's just not that it's eaten away at me, but whenever I see it, and I see this book pop up on like apps and like social media and whatnot, just I see it pop up all the time. And especially when Neil Adams passed, I was reminded of it. I was just like, I don't think I'll ever have an opportunity to get that book at that price ever again. I mean, because for like $75, that was just ridiculously cheap. Even though it was mid-grade, this book now is kind of like, I want to say it's one of those like legacy, foundational, generational key, like I mentioned the Batman book, right? That book, when it came out, it was just so recognized, got a lot of attention, media attention, and just industry attention, and fan and creator attention because of, just the scope of what was being proposed. They were giving fans an opportunity to either save or kill a character, and the fans decide to kill a character. That's just like a big event, right? But this book, when it came out, had that same effect, because it was just not only an award-winning book, but it got recognized by, I think, the mayor of New York City at the time for, addressing the problem of, youth and drug abuse. And that's this cover right here. Green Lantern number 85. Again, I had the opportunity to get, now this is the facsimile. So it's not the actual book. But again, I had an opportunity to get the actual book for $75. I passed it up, and it's kind of just been one of those like things you regret, that you kind of it's always in the back of your head, and you don't want to be reminded of, you still want to pick up the book, but you don't want to be reminded that you had an opportunity to do so, for a great price. Now, I still want to pick up the original of this book, the first print of this book. And that's turning into like a grail. It's turning to sort of like a grail status now, because this book just continues to go up and up. And it's like, again, it's one of Neil Adams's just most famous covers. It's got to be his most, it's the cover that got the most press and won the most awards. And again, just big book. So again, if I can't have the original, then I want the next best thing, which is pretty much a complete copy, a reprint of the original. Now, some of the color and the it's definitely like there's like it's a minty, clean, fresh book. First of all, just a little color scheme is a little off, but for the most part, the art is the same. The cover outside the sticker, the date, pretty much it. It's pretty much the same book, the interior as well. I think this one has all the ads as well. Let me verify that. I want to make sure because I want it to be, if it's going to be like a reprint, we'd want the ads in there, right? To get that. This may be without the ads because they do that in these books. Oh, nope, it has all the ads. That's so awesome. It's got all the ads. So how friggin' cool is that? This is definitely the book of the haul because this is just a book that for me is just one of the grails. It's one of the grails. PC grail. So again, we want to add this book in any grade at some point. And I still have faith that Unmyeong will it brought this to me. This is a good placeholder for it. But even if we don't pick it up, this will be our copy. And we can just pretend it's the original Neil Adams book because it definitely scratches that itch in terms of having it. So there is your book of the haul, Green Lantern 85. And again, this is a book I think I picked up 87 a while back for peanuts as well. But to get this for $2, even though it's a facsimile, it just has again the great Neil Adams art is there. So happy with that. All right, well, I've taken up about 80 minutes of your time. So hopefully, I know probably not 80 minutes because you probably sped through the video. And thanks to Simon and Dave for hanging out with me in the chat. It's great having you guys here. But that was my haul video. Again, 39 books for $52. That works out to about $1.35 per book. Now, I don't know about you, but these were all sort of like, again, base hits for me. Every single issue in this haul. These, I mean, I mentioned I added books that were trying to be micro-focused on PC books, but like, for example, these 3 books here, these are PC books. I mean, I can't see myself parting with these books or any of the Jim Lee books or any of the latter books I did. Now, some of these earlier books, like see, that's a PC book right there. That's a PC book, even though I have 3 copies. I think the 2 copies we can part with. This one is available. PC book. This one will keep until, I think, again, this is going to be a book that has, I think, a lot of potential value. So once it generates that value, we'll get rid of it. This is a book we've been meaning to add, but we may sell or trade it once it gets hot. This is a PC book. This is available. I don't know. I feel like just a lot of this stuff, like this is a book we want to keep in the collection. Just a lot of this stuff. These Todds are available for those He also Todd McFarlane books. I'll trade those. PC book. PC book. See, just I gotta. This is the issue. It's like you want all. When your definition of a PC book is bigger than what you could actually have in your PC, that's a huge problem. And I'm not the only one having this problem. I know a lot of community members are as well. It's a very common problem, but you just, I was talking about Comics Wanderlust earlier. He got to a point where he's just like, look, I can't sustain this level of picking up books, and when there's still more stuff I want to get. So he actually went through the painful process of trying to sell books and trading and doing whatever. And kudos to him, man. It's not an easy thing, I know. I may have to part with some of these books in like a concerted, bundled sale effort. And that may be the best way, just to like bundle a bunch of key books and sell it for really cheap, because I know that could probably have some impact. And we're gonna have to do that soon, because again, after picking up 39 books and that filing shelf is just getting a little packed, it's something we may have to do. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and then let me know what you think of my haul, what you think is the book of the haul in the video, and just things that you liked that I picked up, things that you thought didn't need to be picked up, or whatever. But again, I think my eye for picking stuff up has gotten a lot better, because again, when I look through everything I picked up, there's stuff it's stuff that I've wanted for the collection. So we're just gonna have to, again, there's going to be just some painful decisions to make to whittle down my collection so that we can pick up more books that we love. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.